divine matriarch to share with you these offerings, with the hope that they will bring peace to us. The divine matriarch, and under the authorization of our Lord Regent, Polonius Reed, and the High Paladin, are willing to withdraw our forces from Westamar and return to Illyria immediately. We are willing to do this. However, we have a few things that we would like to offer in addition. First thing is that the nation of Illyria would like to extend a loan in the order of 20 billion gold pieces to the nation of Western to facilitate the rebuilding of this broken nation. First thing, upon agreement and faithful keeping to the terms of our agreement, Illyria will forgive up to 50% in the amount of 10 million pieces of this loan, subject to some terms over time. And of course, the grant will be given over a period of about 10 to 20 years to work out the terms. But the wealth of Illyria will come to the aid of Westamar in its time of need and rebuilding, with a spirit of healing in mind. And to this, we would also like to extend the offer to call upon our flame keepers in Illyria and appoint them to the towns and cities of Westamar to serve as a pillar of these communities to facilitate their healing, but also to extend training and the teachings so that more flame keepers may take up the mantle from Westamar itself. In addition to this, the Silver Order has operated as an Illyrian knightly order, but with the authorization of the High Paladin and the Divine Matriarch, we would like to extend the offer to consecrate a Westamar cadet branch of the Silver Order with its own Grand Paladin. This order would then be composed of knights consecrated in Westamar, paladins called up to serve Westamar, so that there is presence of the sacred flame in Westamar to defend the people from the night that is the darkness that is encroaching. Finally, in addition to this, upon the agreement of what to be done with the relics of Saint Vitruvio, we, the Divine Matriarch, will travel to Drakenheim personally to resurrect the dragon. And in addition, personally crown King Miller. This is what we offer.
Thank you. That's incredible. That all sounds very much in line with what we were hoping to accomplish here. I might have to ponder on some of those points to make sure that I'm clear on the intention behind them and to make sure that all parties are happy with them, but yeah.
So to review, there would be a substantial loan in the Great Kingdom of Illyria there would be the presence of teaching of the flame. There would be warriors who would train under the wisdom and the guidance of Illyria. And what else?
They're going to resurrect the dragon Argonath, withdraw their forces, give us a loan for giving half of it. Westamar will have their own branch of the Silver Order, which Westamar gets to control and elect under the guidance of Illyria.
Correct.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Ophelia
You
nods.
say you're withdrawing your forces, and yet you want to draw up Silver Order army within Westmar. We do all this. If Westmar does something that Illyria does not like in the future, what stops them from having those soldiers already ready to go on the ground?
Well, these soldiers, of course, would not be Illyrian soldiers. They would be knights, trained, consecrated, sworn, and born of Western. We expect that this new branch of the Silver Order would not be ready to operate at full strength for several years, perhaps even not until the loan is actually complete. But they would be this branch of the Silver Order would not answer to Illyria. Like any knight, it would still follow the proclamations of the Divine Matriarch, but it would be independent of the Illyrian Silver Order.
But still calling back to the matriarch from Illyria.
We are all joined by our faith in the sacred flame. All of us are united by the Divine Matriarch across all of our nation. Yes, the Divine Matriarch has a great deal of spiritual influence in Illyria, but she's not the ruler. That falls to the Lord Regent. The loan is issued by the Lord Regent and the government of Illyria, in addition to contribution from the church.
And who issued the soldiers to come here now?
Uriel Radley speaks up. Now, our soldiers have come here in response to your actions and choices, and we are more than willing to remove them. This is an offer. If you do not want us to form a cadet branch of the Silver Order, that is yours to do. If you don't want it, we don't have to do it. We're
I'm not saying we
offering
don't
to.
want it. I'm not saying we don't want it. I want to understand, as someone who has lived in Westmar her whole life, I want to make sure I'm protecting the innocent who would be thus affected by the war and any future wars that may come in respect to these soldiers who are here.
Uriel, before you go on, just what Veo is asking a simple question, and it's not about whether or not we want the cadet branch. Thank you graciously for the offer. It is extremely interesting. But she does ask a valid question. Who ordered the Illyrian army to march into Westmar currently? Was it the Lord Regent, or was it the Divine Matriarch?
We operate under the decree of the Divine Matriarch.
So, just to make sure I'm getting this straight, I don't want to jump to any conclusions, so I'm going to say some things, and you're going to tell me if I'm incorrect, or if there's miscommunication, but We are all united in the guidance of the Divine Matriarch, all nations, but the Divine Matriarch is not the leader of Illyria. The Lord Regent is. However, as you just stated, the Divine Matriarch has been able to call upon the forces of Illyria, including the Silver Order, to follow her guidance to march on Westamar. So if we did have a cadet branch that was born of Westamar, dedicated to Westamar, and honored Westamar, but we came to a disagreement with Illyria, would the Divine Matriarch just be able to say, well, kill the Westamarians, and all of a sudden she does have that power?
Uriel Radley said a few and back again. Formally speaking, the Silver Order has been founded not to find a political mission, and our deployment here is not an invasion of your nation. It is a crusade against the darkness spread and corrupted capital. We are not here to conquer your people. We are not here to dethrone you, Your Majesty. We are here to do what must be done at the decree and wisdom of the Divine Matriarch. We are aided by soldiers sent from the Illyrian House in this mission, because when our first mission that was under the command of a man I love, respect, and miss very much, Theodore Marshall, they came out of a sense of duty, out of a sense to do what was right, out of a sense to do what needed to be done to help Westamar. Our initial forces fought alongside your forces. They shed blood together against the darkness. They fought together against the darkness. And then turned away and betrayed. Now we thought, and I thought, that we were all working together to share the same goal. And I want to just tell you that we are here to do the right thing. We are here to cleanse this nation of the affliction which grips it, the darkness which festers in the heart of our city. But we recognize that this has been a mission that has been politically complicated. And I hope to respect your authority as the ruler of your nation. And I hope that we can work alongside each other to do what needs to be done. And now, if in the future there are disagreements between Westamar and Illyria over other politics, it has never been the mission of the Silver Order to intervene in those ways. The Silver Order exists to protect all people from the darkness which encroaches this world as a whole. And we will continue to do that mission. Now, when it comes to the wars of men and the petty concerns of us as mortals and politics, we don't want to be involved in it. That's not our business.
Thank you for clearing that up, Uriel. That was very well spoken. I am glad that we have an understanding. What you offer is exceptional.
So I really wish to ask about an individual. I want to know what you plan to do with Lucretia Matthias.
Shall we get to the other side of this conversation, man? Because I have been sent some demands. I feel they are reasonable. I hope you will see them the same way. One of our demands is that we would like your assistance and help in capturing Lucretia Matthias so that she may be brought to account in Lumen before the divine matriarch for her blasphemy and tried accordingly.
I'm sure that we can discuss that matter.
Very well, then. In addition, first of all, we would like to hear your agreement as King of Westamar and your resolution that Delirium must be destroyed. We would like to see your commitment to destroying all the Delirium in Drakenheim. And with the knowledge that we will be providing ample funds through the form of a loan to rebuild the city, to do what must be done to ensure that every scrap of those blasphemous stones are destroyed. Every last one. Furthermore, we would like you to formally censure the Amethyst Academy's continued use of and forbid the nobility from purchasing anything made by the Amethyst Academy using delirium. Effectively, if there is any out there, we know that there's going to be more out there, and it's going to take us years. We just don't want the Academy selling it. We want to put an end to it. As you also know, the Divine Matriarch has offered to personally crown you as king. We would very much like that to happen. And as well, to respect the previous agreements that were in place before this whole thing went down, and allow the Divine Matriarch to appoint Ophelia Reed as your High Flame Keeper. Finally, recognizing that this is a little bit of a touchy subject, we would like Westamar to come to the table to renegotiate the Edicts of Lumen, to formally prohibit the sale of magical services using arcane magic by the Academy. Finally, we would like you to surrender the relics of St. Trubio to the Silver Order, with the knowledge that we will turn these relics over to the Westamar branch of the Silver Order when it is founded. Finally, we would like you to turn over Sebastian Crow so that he may be properly executed for murder of Silver Order. We recognize the complicity of Pluto Jackson and Veosenia, but by dint of their noble titles and station, we will overlook their accessory to those murders.
Anything else?
That is all.
I think
Sink in, just letting it, just trying to.
I think there are a lot of valid negotiating terms here. I think that everything you've asked for, in a manner of speaking, is fair. I do not believe I can agree 100%, as this is a negotiation. I do believe that we obtain the right to hopefully come to a fair middle ground on some of these terms. I hear what you're saying, And for a lot of these points, we are on the same page. Westmar and Illyria want the same thing. We all know why Illyria is here, and I was originally touring Westmar for the same goals that Illyria has. We all know it. Everybody in this room knows it. We stand on the brink of annihilation. And what this continent needs right now is a show of peace and of goodwill. Drakenheim is no more. And for 15 years, our nation has lied in ruins, with nothing but bloodshed and war. Families have been torn apart. Soldiers died for squabbles between kingdoms. All the while, the real enemy that we have had to face this whole time has been delirium. And it keeps creeping further and further from the borders of our city. I don't seek war. I don't seek power struggles or political gain. My position here as king of Westmar was not one that I ever wanted, but I hope to use it to do what's right. What I seek are allies who share a simple and common goal that we do agree on. Delirium must be destroyed. It threatens our world, our way of life. It's caused nothing but terror and war. That's why I'm here. I believe Illyria shares the same goals as myself, and in turn, any kingdom that I claim shares those goals as well. And if we can find a way to work together, when the dust settles, the people of this continent will remember those who stood against the growing darkness. The people may not understand the terror of delirium the way we do, but I have traveled through much of Westmar, and I know for a fact that the people of this nation have felt the impact of it and will remember it for years to come. We are all living through a historical event, unlike any that's come before. We sing songs and tell stories of great wars and valiant heroes, but tomorrow's songs will be of the decisions that we make today. And I hope to hear songs of peace, of nations setting aside their differences for a moment to face threats that affect all of us. And in those songs, they'll sing of how we work together for a better future for them, the people of our nations. And it's time for Illyria to write their part in that history and do what's right. And the people of all of our nations are going to be watching.
Precisely. Well spoken, Majesty, and I share yours. I want to implore you that you speak of the bonds between our nations, bonds between Westmar, Caspia, and even Westmar, Illyria, and even Caspia. We can work together to overcome this threat that faces us all, but we need to do what is right, what is righteous, and allow the sacred flame to be our guide. We have allowed the demagogue and sorcerers to lead us towards the path of darkness and destruction. We have allowed a demagogue heretic and lying mages to poison our ideas with promises of wealth and prophecies that are going to fail, that are going to bring nothing but ruin. Our nations can work together, but our houses have to get themselves in order, because it is not the nations that have had trouble working together. People are being led astray. It is people, not the nations.
And I need you